I fucked up, I know that I need help. I'm so sad, my best friend, this lap hat, my lover, my left hand. I just land, I done bang myself up by the range. I know I'm very strange.
I'm going to list the places you have worked that led to CALA. I just want you to give me one positive idea that, or something you took away that was positive from the experience. Or negative if you want, Ruth, but I know you're a pretty positive
No, it's all been pretty positive.
Okay, so number one, Dijital Fix.
I really got thrown into what it means to run retail. I mean, I walked away with understanding what it means to be a buyer, what it means to merchandise, what it means to have a plan, a strategy, and that's incredibly important when you're thinking about every other aspect of fashion, really.
All right, so next up, OKFocus, which I believe was a PR agency?
Actually, OKFocus was a creative digital marketing agency.
I got you.
Yeah, it was run by Ryder Ripps, who's a contemporary artist, net artist, and we were building experiential websites for a lot of celebrities and bigger brands, and
like
really
Kanye West, I believe. Correct?
Yeah, we did some stuff for Kanye West. Nike was a big client, Bruno Mars, but all websites that were connecting a direct consumer and a call to action, something really creative and really artistic.
So what did you take away from that job?
I really learned a lot of the digital strategy and kind of marketing and the power of the internet. And one thing that I really like to think about too is that a web store or an Instagram is the same as a window to Saks Fifth Avenue, right? Their windows are their marketing tool. Same with a website. So thinking about re-merchandising your website or changing what that can look like was a really eye-opening conceptual
What year
concept.
was that?
That was probably 2012.
Oh yeah, so that was the beginning.
The beginning.
Yeah.
And so to think about your Instagram page as a store, and to think about how you merchandise on the internet. Your web store can be seen by billions of people. And what that really means.
Yeah, what you're telling your
telling your consumers.
Yeah.
And a lot about just UI, UX in general, and kind of relating that to the physical world, what that means, and relating back and forth. So, that was a really interesting job that I had for sure.
BEENTRILL.
BEENTRILL, yes. I mean, BEENTRILL was my first crash course into really kind of hardcore the music industry on that level, working with Kanye West and that whole team. I'm still super close with Matt Williams. I mean, I love Alix. It's one of my favorite brands in the world. I owe a lot to, Virgil and Justin and Heron and that whole crew. They also were not your traditional brand at all.
The opposite
of, exactly. They were really a boy band, and then they created merch, and it turned into this brand, and it was cool for me to introduce them to my world. When I first moved to New York, I was doing, hosting ghetto goth parties and doing, a lot of really cool things in the nightlife, friends with, Shane Oliver and Mickey Blanco, and it was cool to kind of bring that BEENTRILL world and connect VFiles in with everything that they were doing and watch it all kind of merge together. I remember.
Did BEENTRILL come before or after VFiles?
I'd always done some stuff for VFiles.
Okay.
My family and some of my closest friends run Disc Magazine, and they were the original creative directors. So I was this it girl, and I would star in a lot of their films. I actually helped set up the very first retail store. They're selling magazines.
At VFiles.
Yeah, VFiles. So VFiles had always been in my peripheral. I had never worked to them full time until really doing the showroom. But when Virgil was talking about Pyrex, let's sell it at VFiles, and that was kind of my family always. So it made a lot of sense.
What do you feel like was the lesson at BEENTRILL?
Seize the moment. Act quick.
Okay.
Can't wait around. Yeah. Can't wait around. Don't care what anyone thinks. Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
VFiles, what was the takeaway there? What was that lesson?
Man, I learned a lot at VFiles. I owe Julianne Quay a lot. She's a very brave, amazing woman. She's the first person to really champion this younger generation of designers and then have the support to actually carry through. She's one of the few people I've seen that's really, sinking her teeth into it and really rolled her sleeves up and are really there to help this new culture.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she really is. So
and weirdly, it just drives me crazy because big media, like, will be very critical of it. Like,
yeah.
it's like...
But isn't that a good thing? I love
Yes.
things that start a conversation.
True.
The worst things in the world are things that go crickets. I only want to work
True.
on things and work with people that you're going to take it home and talk about it at the dinner table. Whether you like it or not, it's still evoking emotion and you're giving it energy, and then it's carrying on. It's something, man, this thing really bothered me today. I'm still talking about it.
Yeah.
The things that I really can't stand are the things that don't do anything.
Yeah.
And you kind of learn that from art school. You get up there and you do a critique on an art piece, and if no one says anything, it feels way worse than a discussion started. You know, that's why when you see on the hype blogs, when you see the comments and all the hate, I'm like, oh, what is this? Now I'm interested. You know? Yeah.
Do you, like, having been involved with some controversial brands and people, what's your advice to people about comments being made on the internet? Is it basically just ignore it and keep it moving?
Yeah, keep it moving.
Okay.
If you believe in yourself, if you have an idea and a vision, one, you're going to do it no matter what, because it's ingrained in you.
You can't stop.
You can't stop, and completely ignore it. Completely ignore it. You know, you should always touch base with reality and touch base with your friends and family,
right.
But you can't let that stop you. You really, really shouldn't. A lot of the bigger talent that I work with, that's like 101. Do not care.
Okay.
Keep it moving. Don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Go, because that's the only thing. The world champions bold. If you look at history, you study history, the people we're still talking about are the ones who are making moves and being bold. So, and I'd say be bold is something I definitely learned from VFiles that I took away from that experience.
All right. So Made, what did you take
Made,
away from them?
wow.
They're another amazing platform.
Yeah, Made is great. You know, Made, I learned a lot of the business side. So, you know, if you look at my trajectory, I have retail experience. I've opened stores. I've done production. I've, you know, through VFiles, I opened the showroom. I did, you know, wholesale. I did PR strategy, you know, discovering new talent. And then kind of pulled all this together in a beautiful, seamless way, but added the kind of business side that I needed. Understanding what it is to work with sponsorship and other brands, and understanding what these, you know, megacorps are really looking for, and how we can really support an industry in a seamless way that feels natural.
Okay. Yeah, they do project that too.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, all of these projects and all these people I've worked with, it is a culture that we're all kind of celebrating and highlighting. And I think Made was really good at that through the events and through kind of bringing everyone together, and that support that you can continue to offer past, you know, what I was doing at the showroom. So, hold on, Mickey. Hi, sorry, we're almost done.
No, we're like fine. Everyone's fine.
Okay.
All right, so I wanted to get into current events a little bit.
Yeah.
Ruth, last night, big news. There was the CFDA Awards, the Menswear Awards. I didn't expect this. I saw Supreme was nominated, but they came away with the win. What was your reaction to that? Were you surprised? What do you think it means?
I'm happy. I'm really, really happy. They are such a brand that has really stuck to their own guns. They really do not play in the normal fashion space at all. They've actually created their own rules to the business and succeeded. You know, I follow a lot of my business practice and what we're even doing here based on a model that they really started and championed, and you can't deny that. And so I love to see the CFDA looking outside the box and championing a brand like Supreme that, you know, doesn't wholesale. It's not a runway brand. They're not showing that way at all. And why can't they be celebrated in that fashion space? So I think it's great. I mean, my sister works there, and you know, as a female in that skater world, so I have like extra soft spot, just to be honest. But no, I think it's fantastic. I think it's great.
Why do you think it's not even generational? Why do you think it gets people upset? Like to see, say, Supreme win, or even to see Virgil go design for Louis Vuitton. Why do you think that bothers people?
I think people have a hard time with change.
Okay.
I think they really do. And I think we're in this weird time right now where if you look at social media is hyper change. Everything's for 4 seconds it lasts, and then it keeps it moving on. But I think that same feeling that we get on the internet has had a hard time kind of hitting real life. And I think by having someone like Supreme win, or Virgil all of a sudden now doing what he's doing. I think it's hard for people to accept that, and I think it's happening quicker and quicker. And so I think that people have a hard time embracing change, and because that means they're going to have to change, and it means a lot's going to have to change.
Or they feel like
if they don't change. Exactly, which is a hard place to be in. And it's not, and it's easy for me to just sit and talk, but it's not just changing a store, then you change your marketing, then you change PR, then you change photography, then you change, everything begins to change. Every single touch point of the fashion industry has to start to shift and change, and that's scary, and it's a lot, but we've got to do it. Because there's too many things that are broken. There's too many amazing designers and brands and talented people that just aren't making money anymore in the way that they have in the past. And we need to push, and we need to make a change.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, as well, you can only go forward. You can't go backward.
Exactly.
All right, Miss, I think you have, Ruth, you have future vision, in my opinion.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's obvious to me.
Thank you.
I have a list of things that I want you to think about, like a stock chart.
Okay.
And think about the chart moving upward a year from now, moving downward a year from now, or just sort of not going anywhere up or down.
Okay.
So think of these items as sort of tickers, if you will.
Okay.
And you tell me where you think this chart will be a year from now. Here we go. Brick and mortar retail.
It hurts me to say, but I think that we're gonna have to dip down before we come back up.
Okay.
I think that stores are gonna have to embrace other industries in order to stay viable, like doing events, for example. I think that they're gonna have to start really thinking outside the box and really champion the fact that they have space and what that means to have space. Right now it's selling clothes, but what more can we do with that to excite people? As I think, online shopping is only going to continue to grow.
All right.
Yeah.
What's one thing like a mall in New Jersey could do to sort of, do you think, like maybe bring a little bit of spark back in there?
Wouldn't you love to see a protest happen in the middle of a mall that's led by a Claire's? Wouldn't you love to see a happening? Or wouldn't you love to see a mall shut down and let's do a concert? Like, wouldn't you love to see these reasons?
Like a rave?
Yes, a rave in the middle of a mall would be great.
Yeah.
Utilizing these retail spaces in outside the box ways. How about a dinner where the table stretches from one end of the mall to the other, and you're sitting next to someone else, maybe who even works in the mall or is an avid shopper who'd never been there before.
That would be really fun.
It would be great, right?
And people in the suburbs are looking for reasons to...
Definitely. It's because PR is shifting. PR is now marketing. And that's also another industry that radically needs to move and sway, and it's just hard.
Right.
But I'd love to see a mall take some more risks.
All right.
Yeah, and also pop-up culture. You know, I know that word pop-up shop is already almost dying and makes me almost cringe to say, but I'd love to see a store give their space over to another brand. I mean, that's something we did at VFiles, and it's something we do here at Next Century, and it works really well. I mean, I don't know if you saw 424 did an amazing event yesterday, and they have their pop-up space, and they give it to some of their brands and different celebrities.
In Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's some retailers that are starting to jump on that, and I think it's something that we need to champion so that there's forever change. There's a reason to come back. There's excitement other than a sale or other than a new product dropping that they could also maybe buy online.
All right. Again, back to the chart, trade shows.
Trade shows are tricky. I think that trade shows are going to remain the same as they are now. There's definitely a place for them. I think there are kind of a good middle ground for brands, and I do think they help buyers. I mean, it's easy, you know, you're one-stop shop. So I think that they're going to remain the same.
So sort of
yeah, especially as this trend for them to become consumer-facing. You look at Complex Con, it's completely consumer-facing. You look at what Agenda's doing. They have days that are for wholesale and then days that are consumer-facing. I worked years on Yo Hood, for example. That's all completely consumer-facing. So I think the idea of what a trade show can be is steadily moving forward, and because of that, I think it'll remain pretty constant.
Chunky sneakers.
You know what?
A year from now.
A year from now, I think that they will become more mainstream. You look at a chunky sneaker. I mean, we do a lot of work with Buffalo London.
Yes.
You know, started in the 70s. That's,
Yes.
you know, one that we're bringing back. I think that this is a trend that will slowly trickle down to, you know, more of the middle America kind of mainstream. You see Steve Madden, they have their first dad shoe that they're
they
selling.
do?
Yeah, and it's one of their best sellers.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they're great. So I think that this kind of trend will last also because it's comfortable. Like,
Corey was telling me that the St. Mark's platform guy.
yeah, he did,
just did a
the Made
pop-up.
Me. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Made Me just launched her and celebrated her collaboration with Converse, and she had the Converse, the platform guy. We actually have talked to him about having him in the space.
You should so do that.
Yeah, he's great.
What's
and
his name?
Boris.
Okay, that's
Boris,
right.
an old school New York legend.
And he's now in Brooklyn, correct?
He is in Brooklyn.
Okay.
So, you know, and I got a pair of, just to put some perspective, when I first moved to New York, it's part of that $400, I actually went to him and got a pair of running shoes platformed.
With part of your
Yes,
$400?
yes.
Oh, that
So,
is
you know, I was getting
hilarious.
platform shoes in 2012. I wear my Buffaloes almost every day now in
Okay.
2018. I don't think that that is going anywhere.
All right.
Remember Rocket Dog? Remember those shoes?
Yes.
Oh, classic.
Digitally generated influencers.
You know, I think this is something that's going to continue to grow and grow. You look at a tool like Instagram Shopping, for example. They're going to release it so that anyone else can promote anyone else's brand. That's a whole new revenue stream. And I think it's taken us a while to understand how influencers can really make money. But we're seeing it more and more and more, using a service like CALA to be able to produce clothes. You know, something we like to practice is create a SKU, design a bodysuit, you know, create a jacket, you know, upload in CALA to be your sample size, throw it on your Instagram, turn on Instagram Shopping. We can support shipping fulfillment. So these influencers aren't so bogged down because they don't necessarily have the full team around them. But yeah, I feel like that's something that's going to continue to grow.
When I say digitally
Oh, you mean like
generated, yeah, like the what's her name?
Oh, yes, and what's his name? The guy
Yeah.
who's coming out. I love this.
Okay.
I think she is fab and pretty amazing.
Oh.
I think that what's going to happen is now that she's made it so famous.
What's her name? Does anybody remember?
What's her name? Oh,
All right,
my.
we'll figure.
Drives me crazy.
There's like conspiracy theories and everything. And
She's legend. She's amazing. She just modeled
is
in Matt
legend.
Williams' Nike campaign. He actually just had all of these digital Instagram influencers.
Is that live?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotta
He just
find that.
launched it in Berlin, I think,
Okay.
maybe last week. It's a beautiful collection, and he actually used a lot of these influencers. She was on the cover of King Kong magazine.
And High Snobette.
Yeah, and High Snob. So
Yeah.
I think that what's going to happen is there's going to be a trend. This is going to grow and grow and grow and grow, grow, and then it's going to plateau.
All right. So a year from now, what is it?
Little Michaela.
Yeah.
Michaela, that's it.
Yeah.
Gorge. She's amazing. Those freckles.
Oh, a guy created her. Just all the usual.
It's a whole
reasons.
studio, yeah.
Yeah.
But she was kind of a mistake, I heard. Like, she was not necessarily meant to be this huge fashion icon.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
She has become an icon.
Yeah, she's great. I love it. It just embraces the future. It's just such a metaphor for, I think, the way that we're heading, and I think we should embrace it.
All right. Instagram in general as a platform a year from now.
I think that it's going to remain the same. I think that it's kind of hit this plateau. I think Instagram shopping's great. I'm excited to see where that goes. You know, I think it'll exactly like Facebook. I think that we'll get to a point where we need next new, the older generation will get on, and it'll slowly kind of morph that way. But over the next year, I think it'll pretty much remain the same.
I saw Denim Tears describe it as the sunken place.
I disagree. I think a lot of people, that's hilarious. I think a lot of people are using it as their website. A lot of brands and artists, they don't even have a website anymore.
It's
Websites are archaic. Anything
Yes.
that you can see with an app in your phone. So
Correct.
because of that, and because there's so many money and brands tied into Instagram, and it is a very direct way of getting your voice out through imagery, I think it's not exactly going away like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real fur.
Let's get rid of it. Can we please?
All right.
Can we just get rid of it?
All
It's
right.
not sustainable. I've seen the most beautiful faux fur in my
It's
life.
true.
Why are we holding on to this?
I don't know, but like my one thing would be like, then why are we holding on to leather?
I think it's a process. I think that fur, leather is used in not just clothing. Leather is everywhere. You know, whereas fur is pretty much at this age pretty fashion. And so let's start by cutting fur and then let's work on leather.
All right.
There's also been a lot more research done on faux fur, I think, than faux leathers at this point. People have really mastered it. You can do a beautiful faux fox.
That's a good point.
You know, you can do a beautiful faux fox.
It can be tough to tell the difference.
Yeah, where leather I can still kind of tell. So let's do a little bit more work on that, and then slowly let's get rid of leather and kind of move through the whole process. But let's start somewhere, and let's start with fur.
Okay, Ruth, I wasn't expecting that answer from you. But I'm good with it.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the last one I'm going to ask you about in terms of like stock chart, and I've been asking it ever since he became elected. How about Donald Trump?
No, he's just going to disappear. I mean, he is a product of our American culture. Our biggest export is culture, and look at what our cultures turn. Let's cough up him. So let's take it. Let's pull it back. Let's give it back to the creatives. Let's celebrate art and culture again and pull it back, America. And let's please just let's throw him in the garbage as quickly as we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now the very last thing I wanted to ask you about is, I agree with that 100%.
I mean, there's no even conversation.
Do you think he makes all 4 years?
I really hope not.
Yeah.
I really hope not. I think, unfortunately, he might.
Yeah, me too.
And then it'll go back, hopefully, to the way things maybe need to be. Or, you know, hopefully he starts a discussion and opens a door to a whole new...
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's gotten a lot of people up off their asses to actually go out and pay attention and vote, you know. Yeah, let's shift this.
So listen, you're a champion of the young and the up-and-coming designer. What's your words of advice to a designer who just feels like, I'm not cutting it, I'm not making it, I'm going to just give up?
Yeah, no, don't give up.
Okay.
Don't give up. You can't. I understand it's incredibly hard right now, but we need you. Okay. We need you. We need the new generation. I'm sick of hearing the same designers over and over and over again. Look into resources, whether you use a CALA or not. They're out there. Just do your homework. Don't give up, and study and research. Research. You don't have to be in school to be doing research.
Okay.
Yeah.
Work for someone, do you think?
You know, I think it depends on the personality type.
Right.
Sometimes that can help. It helped me in what I do. You know, I do work on a lot of creative projects, and I don't think I would be as confident to do some of the creative direction that I do without having the knowledge and working for all these other brands. So there is something to be said in that, but I do believe a true creative, a true artist, a true fashion designer, and you can spot them from a mile away, need to just jump right in it.
Okay.
You can't really waste time. Go for it.
All right, so there's not a definitive path.
Not really, no. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate this.